Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Ken, and today I've got an absolutely fantastic recipe for you for a Greek style chicken stew with whole onions and peas. Super easy to make, super delicious, and on top of that, there's not even any cutting involved in this. Basically, the only cutting there is really is peeling the onions, which I've already done. The knife here is just a prop. The beauty about this recipe as well is that it is only a one-pot meal. There is nothing else. Basically, we have the chicken that goes in, browns off, everything happens in one pot, and it's super easy because you don't have to clean up either. So to get us going, we basically fire up our element here to brown off our chicken. So get that going. And for that, we're gonna add a little bit of extra virgin Greek olive oil. And ooh, getting a little low there. So now that our olive oil is heating up, we're gonna place our chicken skin side down to start browning off. Now for this recipe, I use one of my favorite cuts, in fact, my favorite cut of chicken, which is the thigh, bone in, skin on. I love this actually because the most flavorful and it's very easy to handle. Now, what I will tell you for this, for those of you that are interested in the health benefits or cutting down on your fat, I'm using skin on, bone in. Use the skin when you're browning it and cooking it, and then afterwards for the health benefits, just let me put this over here. For the health benefits, very simply remove the skin. That's totally up to you. Now that our chicken is browning off, I'm gonna start with the basics here. A little bit of salt, some fresh cracked black pepper will go into this as well. For this recipe here, I'm using 6 chicken thighs. It's actually serves 4, but there may be some Greeks involved, so they don't usually just stick to one piece of meat. Another trick to knowing when your chicken is done browning, it will actually separate on its own from the pan. So if you try and flip it and for some reason it kind of sticks on you still, leave it. It's not done yet. Once the fat has rendered down and it heats up to that certain temperature where caramelization happens, that's when it'll actually be ready to turn. The next part of this, very easy. 4 onions. I'm using 4 regular size onions. If you're using the smaller size, you can basically use about 2 to 3 per person. Totally fine. Whole, just peeled. Nothing else to them, just pop them in. Just like that, nothing at all complicated to this. Let those go for a few minutes until the other side of the chicken browns off, and we'll go from there. Now we're gonna take a couple of cloves of garlic, and what I'm going to do is just basically crush them or smash them on my board, and basically from there, just put them in whole. I'll put in 3. Who doesn't like garlic? There. And basically, once you crush them, it makes it a lot easier to actually remove the skin. Oh, here's a double one in here. That's totally cool. Pop those in there. Doesn't get much easier than this. Push that down. Peel it back, and you're done. So I've given this a quick toss-up. The oils from the onions are starting to come out now because they're starting to heat up. But our garlic is heating up as well. It's starting to happen in here. Now that everybody's happy in our pot, caramelization has started. The next part of this is to kind of deglaze. And we're gonna use for this white wine. Use about a cup or so of white wine. Dry white wine is fine. Whatever you use, totally cool. Whatever you drink, absolutely fine. And let that go now for another maybe 3-4 minutes. Let the alcohol burn off. Take 1 bay leaf, dried bay leaf, that goes in. I'm going to take now a tablespoon or 2 of tomato paste, and that's gonna go into our pot as well to give us that deep, rich tomato flavor and color. It goes in there. Give that a quick stir. Let the tomato paste kind of melt down into our broth now of white wine. And the flavors are really going to start picking up. This is what I'm talking about here. It's absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how good this smells. The only way you're going to find out is if you try this recipe at home. So our wine now is evaporating down. The alcohol is burned off. The next part of this is 14 ounces of crushed tomatoes go in there. Nothing to this at all. So get rid of that. And give this a quick stir. So now that our crushed tomatoes have gone in, give our chicken stew a quick stir, kind of incorporating everything into our pot. And like I said, everything here is happening in one pot. Nothing to this at all. And from here, I'm just going to add water, just enough to top up and go over our chicken and our stew. So now, at this stage of the game, all I'm going to do is put a lid on it, reduce heat to like a medium low, and let this go for about 40 to 45 minutes. All right, so our sauce has been going now for about 45 minutes, give or take, and it's actually fantastic. It's coming along perfect. Our onions are starting to fall apart, which is totally fine. Doesn't matter whether they're kind of intact or not. The next part of this recipe are the peas. And for this recipe, I'm using frozen peas. I'd really prefer using frozen over canned. I control the salt and the sugar this way. Plus, they're frozen or flash frozen right at the peak of their doneness. And for this recipe, I'm going to use about 2 cups, give or take, of frozen peas. And I'm just gonna let them go in there and let those go for another maybe 15 minutes or so, and then our dish will be done. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes for our chicken to get done, and now we've had our peas in there for about 20. So all in all, we're into this for a little more than an hour, give or take. It's done. It's absolutely perfect. You can see here, our chicken is done, the sauce is tightened up, and our peas are nicely cooked. What is there left to do? Let's try this puppy out. Take a little piece of chicken. I'm only trying just a little bit right now because it's hot as you know what. So I'm just gonna turn this off. We're done here. And let me grab a fork. Perfect. So here, our chicken is absolutely just literally, it's just falling apart. Now, for those of you, like we said, can eliminate the chicken skin, you don't have to eat that, but our chicken is done to absolute perfection. It is absolutely perfect. Here goes. That is so delicious. That is really, really good. I mean, really, really good. Peas are perfect. A great meal. So that's it for this episode. Another great episode of easy home cooking, one pot meal done very simply with chicken thighs, peas, whole onions, typically known as a Greek stifado. And this dish here you could also make with beef. You could also make it with rabbit, which is an even more traditional take on this. And if you're going to use it with rabbit, which I'll probably make a video at some point using the rabbit, instead of wine, we use a little bit of vinegar to offset the gaminess. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But for this recipe today, it's absolutely easy. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Ken, aka The Lazy Gourmet. Hit the like button, subscribe, and until next time, thank you for watching. Bye for now.